Hey guys, Nathan here. Thought I'd just go ahead and make a short video of how I store my kayaks, so stay tuned. So I'm probably not the only one that has this issue, but I don't have much room to store my kayaks really. I have two kayaks. One is a yellow LL Bean kayak, and I believe it was purchased around 2010 or so, give or take, maybe older, I'm not 100% sure. I got it free from a good friend. And then I have this guy right here behind me, which is the Bonafide P127, which I just got a couple weeks ago. So I've been working on getting that outfitted and good to go before, fishing starts. So with this kayak here, if you're gonna go the route of a lighter kayak, I just bought a simple Amazon kayak lift. I'll put the link in the description on what it is. But anyways, this kayak strap was pretty easy to install. It's only two support pulleys up top, and then there's two additional pulleys down below to help take the weight off. This kayak is, I want to say around 50-ish or so pounds, maybe a little bit more, maybe a little bit less. It might be actually a little bit less, to be honest with you. It's actually quite small when you go in it. So anyways, I got this mount last year. It was fairly easy to install. The only downside, of course, is, having to lift it and lower it, right? How I have this set up, I probably could have done less string on this thing, but the way I figured is I'm gonna be moving next year, and I don't know the next place that I'm going to be storing it, if it's going to be, possibly a pole barn, or if I have another garage that's going to be possibly even taller. So I'm not 100% sure yet. But anyways, how you would do this thing is that you take this rope out. I don't know if you kind of see. You pull it a little bit, and then what you do is you just slowly lower it by just slowly releasing the rope. Now, if you let go, of course, I think this will catch, but there's a possibility that it might not. But anyways, once you're done, you go back and you put on a specific angle, and there's like a little latch that locks it into place. It's rated for, I want to say 100 and something pounds, but using this thing, I don't necessarily know if it's rated for that. For this particular kayak, this is definitely a lighter kayak compared to my Bonafide P127. And hauling this thing up and down, even with these pulleys, unless you add maybe another one or two, which would help decrease the load, it's just a little tough to lift up. For whatever reason, I feel like anything more than this would be a bad idea. But anyways, for my Bonafide P127, I did not feel comfortable getting something like that. So what I did is I actually made my own kayak lift. So first off, with anything, do your research. I'm going to give you what I use personally, but it's going to be up to you to decide how you want to build it. So first thing is first, when you take a look at this kayak, I have two 2x4s, one right here and one right there, and then I tied a string on each end here, and then it goes to a series of pulleys that then goes all the way up to the front here and goes up that back wall, which I mount to another 2x4, and then have those pulleys route all the way to my motor that I have attached. It's a little loud. All right, cool. It works very well. How I have it set up is that I have the pulleys running up to a first set, which then extends over and then goes down here, and it latches on right here. I'm using bungee cord, and this is graded for 1,000 pounds. Is it safe? Absolutely. It's got 12 strands here, and each individual strand has a series of other smaller threads in there, and it takes a lot to break this thing. So this is fairly secure, and it's also pretty cheap. So I'll link that on Amazon as well. And then what I did is I took some boat fabric. Typically you'd use this to put on a trailer, and I bought some on Amazon, which I'll also link, and I use that just to wrap up so I don't scratch the heck out of the underside of my kayak. And I also got these little clip knots that once I tied it off, even though I felt it was good, I wanted to add some additional protection on there by putting these on so it'll never unravel. So fairly happy with it. I feel fairly confident that nothing will ever happen to that thing. You can see that I ran two 2x4s, and they are going in to each joist that's in the attic, and I made sure of it as well. And then install your pulley system. Now, something that I've seen people do, which actually puts less stress on your motor, is they'll actually add another pulley system right here, and they run another line that it goes to that pulley system that goes straight up, and then it locks into that wood there. So by doing so, every time you add a pulley, it'll take half the weight off. The only downside with that is if I had a longer garage or where I had this motor, I need more length and I just don't have it, and I didn't feel like adding additional pulley systems for it. Anyways, this is what I have. It works perfectly fine. So I have 10 pulleys that I'm using in total. Now, I wouldn't say that these are necessarily removing any weight. They might, but definitely it's just to help redirect and make sure, you know, the management is clean. The cables aren't, you know, knotting up or tangling up with one another. Anyways, I have that, it runs across over there, then it goes into a big gigantic knot that's latched onto this hook over there, and it works out well. It's not gonna come undone. Definitely build your own. It'll be cheaper in the long run. The only thing where it'll get you is that you're gonna need a battery for that. Now, one suggestion that I'd probably get, and what I'm gonna do differently, is for this 2x4, I'm actually going to mount additional wood on the underside, so maybe take another 2x4 and screw it into the other side just to make it a little bit more stable. Both of these 2x4s do bow very slightly because this kayak is about 100 pounds with everything on it, and when I store it, you know, it's 100 pounds going up, and there's just a very slight bow. And though it would be fine probably, I don't like probably, I want to be absolutely sure. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get that additional 2x4 to make it more sturdy. So besides that, that's how I have this system put in place. Again, I'm just going to show you the wire management for it. Hopefully you guys can see it okay and kind of get a grasp on how it's set up. So you have each of your ropes here, it goes up, it connects over, it goes down, and then it goes to that hook right there. Hopefully this helps you out, or at least kind of gives you a little insight. It's really not that bad to install. Get better light over here. It did definitely take me about 3 to 4 hours to install this thing, and you know, unfortunately, maybe a little bit longer, maybe about 5 hours, but I had to make a trip out to a local box store in order to get some screws and bolts. But it's definitely, I would say it's definitely a weekend project. You want to thoroughly plan everything out, and you know, it'll save your back in the long run, and you'll definitely feel more comfortable as an end result installing your own system there. So that's why I definitely recommend. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask me in the comments. But again, do your own research before you do anything, because I do not want to be responsible in the event that, you know, something happens to your kayak. I'm just a random dude who enjoys fishing on YouTube. Thank you so much for checking out this video, and I'll see you on the next one. Take it easy. Bye-bye.